Hello, in this video I'm going to be talking about if-else statements. Here's the basic format of if-else statement. If the condition is true, statement 1 will be executed. If the test expression is false, then statement 2 will be executed. We'll start with a very simple, straightforward example. I'm going to write the format for if statement. Now that I have the basic format of if statement, I can add the condition. I'm going to start with a very simple condition. So in this condition, I'm asking if 5 is greater than 7. Obviously, the answer is false. And Visual Studio will kind of show you which one of these statements will be displayed. If you change the condition, again, Visual Studio will show you which one of these statements will be executed. Your application doesn't have to have only output statements if the condition is true. In some situation, if the condition is true, there are certain calculations that need to take place. Or if the condition is false, certain calculation and output should be displayed to the user. Just like the other if statements, any kind of output statement or code outside of the if else will always be displayed or executed once the condition is tested. So for example, the right line at the end, this will always be displayed regardless of the output of the if statement. So this line will always be displayed regardless of the output of the if statement. Here you can see the output. Now let's change this application to read numbers from the user, and if the number is greater or equal to 50, we're going to display that you entered a number that is 50 or higher. If the number is lower than 50, the output will be you entered a number lower than 50. To do that, I can adjust this code. Now that I have the value of int number, I can change the condition. This is a basic example of how you can use if-else statement. You can read more information, and if statements can get really complicated. So I'm going to show you one more example of if-else statements. If you want to read two numbers and compare them, you can use if-else statement to do that. The flowchart for doing that can look something like this. You can compare the first number to the second number. So if number 1 equals number 2, if that statement is true, then the output statement will be both numbers are the same. If the output of this condition is false, meaning that the first number is not the same as the second number, then we're going to test another condition. Is the first number greater or higher than number 2? If that's true, then first number is higher. If that statement or that condition is false, that means that the second number is higher. There are multiple ways of drawing this flowchart. So this is one example. Here's another example where you can change the conditions. Here's the code that I need to enter two numbers and read the input from the user. Working with if-else statement, things can get complicated very quickly, so it's always helpful to have a flowchart or a pseudocode when you are working with if-else statement. Looking at the flowchart, I know that I have two if statements and three outputs. So using the flowchart will help me write the code. From the flowchart that I created, I know that I have two if statements. The first one is going to test whether the first number equals to the second number. If that condition was true, then I'm going to send output to the user saying that both numbers are the same. Using the flowchart, I used the first if condition. If that was true, I sent the first output to the user. Now we're going to go to the second option. If the first number and second numbers are not the same, or the condition is false. Now I have to have another if statement asking whether the first number is higher than the second number. Back to the code. In this condition, I'm asking if the first number is higher than the second number. If this is true, that tells me that the first number is higher. So I'm going to send that output to the user. Back to the flowchart. I ask the first condition. If the first condition is true, I send that output. If the first condition is false, we ask the second condition if the first number is higher than the second number. If it's true, we already send the output back to the user. If that condition is false, then I need an else statement to show the second output or the other output for the user, stating that the second number is higher. Now that the application is ready, I can run it. In this example, we compared integer values, but you can use strings or characters in these conditions, so you're not only restricted to integer numbers. I hope you found this video helpful. Have a great rest of your day.